Hello and welcome to this guide into the delivery apps in Australia. The three main companies that remain following the demise of Deliveroo are Uber, Menulog and DoorDash. The delivery collapse is quite interesting and we've covered on another video looking at the financial viability of these companies, which, spoiler alert, basically don't make any sense. But this introduction to the three apps is a basic look at the apps. It can be very scary and quite intimidating when you start to deliver on these platforms. You know, they're all different. They've all got their own nuances. This is just a basic introduction to the app, not when you're actually delivering, but just the mechanics of it. You know, how to navigate, how to set up your schedules. Some of the delivery partner companies are on demand and some of them are scheduled. Uber is basically, you know, you can do it whenever you want. DoorDash is scheduled but seems more flexible about letting you deliver, you know, when they get busy. And Menulog is very much, you know, these are the slots, these are the drivers we need. You sign up to them in advance, and if nothing's available, you can, you know, say you're available, but the chances of getting something are quite remote, except, you know, if you're in a busy Friday, Saturday evening scenario. They quite often will extend them, you know, if they're busy and you're doing well. But all the apps have got their own nuances, and I'll talk about those. They've got their own frustrations, and this is just to hopefully allow you to become a bit more familiar with the different apps before you actually get to use them. You know, spend a bit of time after you've signed up to have a look and, you know, make sure you're comfortable with it before you actually start delivering. So basically going to look at the Menulog one first, then the Uber, and then DoorDash, just talking about, you know, the differences and the, you know, what you need to know basically before you start. So I hope you find it useful, and if you don't, well, sorry about that. If you do, great, and I'll see you later. Okay, this is having a look at the Menulog app. The Android app is called Courier. So I will just load it up. Sorry, just looking at the wrong. Now this is probably the most problematic app out of the three that I use: Menulog, DoorDash, and Uber. It's probably the app that crashes the most. It complains when you're on Wi-Fi sometimes. Quite often it just won't boot. It will just have a black screen there. Quite often, you know, it always says installing updates. It takes forever to load, and generally it's probably, you know, it is the most clunky, you know, of all the apps. It's you got to press the most number of buttons. The navigation isn't as good as the Uber or the DoorDash. You know, overall, it's just not the best app. This is what you get pushed into. This is the home screen. This is what you'll see the most of, and you'll see the four icons here, which is the primary navigation tools. So we're on the Speedo here, which is the dashboard, and this tells you, you know, where you are, what area you're in. So we're currently in the Brisbane Wynnum area. I think that's Brisbane CBD East, and that's Capalaba, Brisbane Capalaba. Now Menulog does have the smallest geographic areas of all the three main apps in Australia. I think both DoorDash and Uber have a consolidated Brisbane Capalaba. Whether that relates exactly, you know, to Wynnum plus Capalaba on here, I don't know. I'm not examining it in that much detail, but Menulog definitely has the smallest area, which is an advantage in that you get to know all the restaurants and the roads much better, and also, you know, you don't get pushed out to the extremities of an area. Like say you're down here in the bottom corner and you know it's your last run of the day. And it's happened to me before, and it takes ages to get home, you know, 20-25 minutes, you know, which effectively is lost revenue. If you're doing a calculation of earnings per hour, you know, that's going to reduce the rate considerably. If you're just in this area, I guess the worst is you're probably 5-10 minutes from home, so, you know, not too big an impact. And that's one of the things you have to consider when you're looking to say, well, how much money am I making from doing these deliveries? Is you often don't have travel to work, you don't have travel back from work, and that needs to be considered when you're looking at your overall rate per hour. So this is telling me I'm offline, and if I'm eager to earn, I can change that to be available. I'm not available, so I'm not going to do that. This button up here takes you to the help center, and it's got the frequently asked questions. And normally it takes you to a web page, and it's just not great. It's very clunky, and it's got a few suggestions, but nothing really groundbreaking. It does give you some details about alcohol deliveries. Now, I'd recommend that you don't do alcohol deliveries in the beginning. They're a little bit tricky in terms of you have to do some online training, responsible serving of alcohol type thing, and you do get the odd customer who have had a one too many, and you really probably shouldn't be delivering alcohol to them. So when you're getting learned to the ropes at the beginning, probably best that you don't have that extra complication. I can only imagine what it'd be like to have a really tricky alcohol delivery as your first courier run. But this need more help button down here is invaluable on Menulog. Probably, I've never used it. I've never had to speak to anybody at Uber or DoorDash, but Menulog, I've had to speak to them several times. And primarily that's because, for whatever reason, Menulog don't have a very good address validation process. I'm not sure how it works at the back end, but there's obviously no validation between the GPS location and the address that the person's putting in, and that address doesn't need to be valid. For example, I had somebody who was at a numbered house on West Avenue in Wynnum, and they'd put that number they just put West and then Y. So for whatever reason, hadn't put the avenue bit in. Obviously, that's not a valid address. I know the area. I know that there's only one West, and it's West Avenue. I called the customer just to confirm that it really was West Avenue, but the app doesn't know that, and it just defaults to the centre of Wynnum, which isn't super helpful. If you don't know the area, you're not going to know. You're going to click on that. Let's navigate to the customer, and it's going to take you to some random spot. Maybe you realise when you get to that random spot, or not. I've also had that a couple of times when someone's just put the unit number on a road, and then it takes you to a random spot on the road which isn't where the customer is. It's very frustrating, and I don't know why Menulog don't sort that out, and it's something you probably just need to watch out for, just to have a look and see if the address is okay. If it isn't okay, you've still got an issue. You need to phone the customer, find out what the address is, put in that address on your own mapping service, whatever you use, Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever your poison is. But the problems don't stop there. Once you've actually gone to the customer, you've handed over the their food or their alcohol or their shopping or whatever it is that you're delivering, it won't actually let you close off the delivery, because, well, unless you just happen to randomly be close enough to the random location that the app thinks that the customer's at. So you're at the customer's address, the app thinks you should be going to a different address. Obviously, you've gone to the customer, you try and close it off, the app says, no, you're too far away from where you need to be, I can't close this delivery off. And you're basically stuck in a loop. You have to contact customer service, you have to say, hey, this has happened, the customer's put in the wrong address. This is all chat-based, there's no number to ring, you can't actually speak to someone, and to be fair to them, they're fairly responsive. It only takes 5-10 minutes, but that's 5-10 minutes that you just don't need. It's marginal at best whether it's worthwhile doing this, and those kind of delays, especially in a peak period, maybe where you're getting an extra $1 or $2 a delivery, it's not great, and Menulog need to sort that out. It's better for the customer if it validates the address. Better for the restaurant, because the customer gets their food earlier, and certainly better for us who are delivering the food to the customer. We need to know where it is. It's the most essential thing. Of all the data you get. So the next one here, that's the calendar, is basically opens up this page which has these strings at the top. you can click on my schedule. I don't have any open runs this week. I'm not doing any, about to go on holiday, it's Easter, so I've got no open runs. If you did have runs that you selected, it would plan them all out there, and it would tell you, what time you're on from. I think as I would explained in a earlier video or earlier parts of this video, Menulog, you have to sign up for runs, and they only let so many drivers operate at certain times. Uber, it's a free for all. You can do whenever you want, wherever you want. They don't care. And DoorDash is similar to Menulog. And that's important because if you're doing a dual partner strategy, which is best to maximise your money, you need to make sure that you've got the Menulog or the DoorDash runs locked in, and then you can do the Uber supplement on top of that, because Uber's not as fussy. So if you did have any scheduled runs, they would be there. These are all the runs that are available. You can go down here and see what's available. It doesn't filter by area, which is annoying. It'd be nice if you could just see all the Brisbane Wynnum ones. I've got the CBD South, and I've got the Cleveland ones here. This is the time. You click on that to available. That says you need a car because we're outside of the CBD area. This plus $1 here is basically a bonus. They must be really busy at this time, and they're going to pay courier partners $1 extra per delivery. During this time for deliveries in this area, which can be quite beneficial, especially because Menulog probably the one that pays the most for each deliveries, as you'll see in the latter parts of this video. You can sort by day. Thursday is probably my favourite day for delivering, just because I think people are getting tired at the end of the week and want to deliver, but the restaurants aren't completely busy, so you're not hanging around waiting for your deliveries. And I think, there you go. Wynnum's got a few plus ones there, so that would be pretty good. 4 to 8 is probably the best time frames for a suburban area like Wynnum. After 8 o'clock, it gets quite quiet. It's probably not busy till 5 o'clock, so you probably first hour of that you want to pause or just do whatever until the first orders start coming through. But this is how you pick up open runs. You go to availability, and you can basically tell the app when you're available, and it will allocate you to runs once you confirm that availability. This is where you can see all your earnings. No earnings for this week. You can go back and see your earnings for a particular week. You can see particular orders, and it will tell you how much you got paid for whatever deliveries. And we'll talk about this. I was just to say, look, this is $16.57 for one delivery. I mean, it's just insane the amount they're willing to pay you. Whether that's because it's they were particularly busy at that time. I mean, it was quite a drive out to Capalaba from where I was, but still $16.57 for what was quite a small delivery. It's just pretty insane. And then finally, this is just your account, number of deliveries, number of kilometres, any promotions that are going on. They just talk about Fast Track and Pay Spiked, and then referrals and the exclusive deals that you get. As being a courier, probably Uber's probably much better than the Menulog from that perspective. So that's a very brief introduction to the Menulog app. Hope you find it useful, and yeah. Okay, let's have a look at the Uber app. So the Uber app is called Uber Driver, probably the most sensible of all the names of the apps. It does what it says on the tin. It's the Uber Driver app. So loading it up is a bit different to the DoorDash one. It gives you a bit more information. There's a notification up here to tell you that there's 2 things in my inbox. This is my Uber score for the quarter, I believe. I think it runs, must be till the 30th of April, so it must be from 1st of Feb to 30th of April, which determines your tiers, green, gold, platinum, diamond, I don't know, something like that. And then if I want to go, I go. It's not like Menulog where you have to do your schedule. It's just like bang, go. There is something quite odd about this, which I'll come to in a bit. And then also it shows you your opportunities here. So it says there's a opportunity to get 1.1 times boost per trip, which is basically a 10% bonus. When you click on it, it'll show the area. It's not necessarily the area you're in, so it's a little bit clunky in terms of how to find a promotion or boost in your area. I think this one here, again, that's quite clunky. Yeah, it's there's a 10% there in Wynnum. Not the best out of all the boosts, but it's pretty good. I like it. You can see here, if I was to travel to a different area, I can see where there's a 30% boost, which is pretty good. Uber's probably, I used to think it was the lowest paying out of all of them, made up for by the fact that it's just so insanely busy. But my opinion on that's changed slightly, which we'll come to in a bit more detail. But these are all the boosts you can see down here. You can see all the opportunities here by month, by day of month. Unfortunately, not by area, but it is what it is. These are things that they recommend for you. There's opportunities. There's a survey here. There's a helpful earnings forecast for the Capalaba area. Like I said on the Menulog one, Uber consolidates Wynnum in with Capalaba, and it tells you when it's likely to be busy. In my opinion, that 4 p.m. one's probably too high. It's very optimistic. 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Yeah, 1 p.m. agreed. It definitely quiets down between 2 and 3 p.m. So I do, probably on the whole agree with that. There's a referral thing here. You can see all the time that you've driven. I think Waybill takes you to your last one. I don't, fully understand what this is talking about. Also that I'm offline, so if I just go back to the main screen, let's have a look and see what's in the inbox. It's a free safety vest. It's waiting for me. How exciting. Let's have a look. So, when I want to be seen, I got a high visibility vest, and I can order a new vest now. Pretty good. It's saying basically I was away at the weekend, and it's saying I could have earned more by working over the weekend. There was a fuel offer, which was a 12 cents off a litre at BP, and there was also a quest on during the week, which I don't think it will let me see it anymore because it's finished. But effectively, it was they have quests where over a period of time, if you order, if you deliver 10, you get a bonus. If you deliver 15, you get a higher bonus, and it's to encourage you to, I guess, work more and take more orders in the peak times. So, normally the weekend, I think that was Friday, 1 a.m. to Sunday, midnight Sunday. So that's Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. Just to be clear. Yes, that's the opportunities. So it's a bit outdated. And the other thing with Uber, which you don't see on DoorDash or Menulog, is that you do get tips. Don't get many tips, but you do get some. But there's a $6.80 one there, which is just a bit mind-boggling, really. And yeah, that's you got your inbox, you got your referred friends, you got opportunities we talked about. There's an earnings summary here. The other thing with Uber is that you can cash out at any time, so you can get your money, on the spot as soon as you earn it, which is, you don't get that on Menulog or DoorDash. And this is the Uber Eats Pro. So let's say if I do a bit more, I'll get up to gold, and I'll get extra discounts. I think it's an extra 1 cent at BP. Nothing too earth-shattering, and that effectively is it in terms of the nuts and bolts of the app. There's here you can change the preferences to say, do you want to be deliveries? But there's always deliveries, and I don't know. There used to be something else on there which has disappeared. I don't really understand where that bit went, but it may be something to do with this trip filters. So there's now a pack and deliver orders where you go to a store and you actually get the things off the shelf and you pay for it using an Uber credit card, which is loaded into Google Wallet. Which is, I've never actually done it. I'm not sure that would ever be used. In an area like Widham, which is relatively quiet. So if I want to go, it always comes up with this required actions. And this is the frustrating thing with Uber. Completely understand this. I'm saying, yes, I'm wearing protective clothing, my phone's mounted, my bike's fine, I'm going to ride safely, I'm going to secure delivery bags, I'm going to wear a helmet, and you have to take a photo of yourself wearing a helmet. No problem with that at all. The problem is that once you've done that, you've got your helmet on, it then quite often asks you to verify that it's you, and it wants a photo of you without your helmet on. So it's just the wrong way around. It should verify your account first, and then do the motorbike safety checklist. And this helmet thing, it's not too much of a pain to put your helmet on and then take it off, but it's just seems a very strange way to go about it. So in terms of the basic navigation of the app, that's it. Quite simple, quite straightforward. Uber's done a good job of it. It's very reliable. It doesn't seem to crash very much. It gives you a lot more flexibility in if you've got an order and it's the way it's going to be too long, you can just cancel it. You're totally in control with Uber. You can deliver when you want to. There's no penalty for refusing to take on a delivery. And for rejecting a delivery, there's a few places that I just refuse to go to because they're just too slow. They just don't care. They just got an attitude. I understand places get busy, but don't have an attitude and don't be 20-25 minutes wait every single time. I used to think that Uber, was the worst one because you didn't get paid for waiting, but you definitely do. And in fact, it's probably the most proactive in saying, you've got to the restaurant, you're waiting, you're going to get paid for your time. So I respect that. The base pay is probably the lowest out of them all. I would rank them as Uber's the lowest, DoorDash the middle, and definitely Menulog's the top. But there's a lot of things that Uber do right, which the other companies could definitely learn from. And finally, let's have a look at the DoorDash app. I just need to get it up. It's called Dasher. There it is. It always has these notifications. I've never worked out what it's talking about. This is going to prove me a liar now when it comes up. You can see there's 5 here. I think that's, to be honest, I think it's 5 interactions with the customer service chatbot. I had to contact them because they weren't paying me, quite annoyingly. Nobody likes to work for nothing, and it took a while to get that resolved. So I think that's what that 5 is there. But I think if I click on it, there'll be no messages there. Not great, but I mean, all these apps are a little bit clunky. So this is the overview. You can see clearly where I am. You can see the consolidated area of Wynnum and Capalaba. We could if it didn't take us off down to Stradbroke Island. And it also tells you how busy areas are. So I can see that Wynnum's not busy at the moment. And again, like Menulog, DoorDash is a scheduled delivery. So you have to say and have to pick up runs. They limit the number of customers at certain times, depending how busy it is. As we've been watching, it's just got busy. So they just said, we need people, you can dash now. If I click on it, it will say, we need them until 3 p.m. But I don't know what, to be honest, I don't know what happens if you say I want to dash till 6. Don't really want to do it because I'm not actually available at the moment. But you can see that it's very dynamic. I mean, you can see then it changed. It changed from being not busy to busy. How busy is, I don't really know. So I think there's certain tiers. So there must be not busy, no drivers required, busy, very busy. What I don't understand is here in this Strathpine, Aspley, Chermside area, it's busy plus $1. Yet in this, what I would call CBD South, it's very busy, but there's no extra dollar. So maybe it's just busy. Maybe it's very busy and they've got enough drivers just. But up here, it's busy, but they don't have enough drivers, and hence why there's an incentive. But I have to say I like it. You know, a bit like the Uber app, it's telling you where places are busy. It's dynamic. It's telling you it's up to date, and it makes it much easier to go in. Now, there's this promos one here, which again, a bit like the Menulog one, you get paid extra for each delivery. The amounts are a bit higher. I think DoorDash is probably struggling to get enough people, especially in these early slots, 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. But who's going to want to do that, and how busy is it going to be? Again, there's no sorting by area. There's no way I'm going up to Stafford Heights, Red Bank, Jindalee. I'm not going to any of those places. Why is it even showing me? There's nothing for Wynnum, though. Sorry, it's a lie. It's Capalaba. I forget that it's combined. It's not Wynnum. So there's these $3 ones here, but it's all early morning, Tuesday and Wednesday, an extra $3. But really, how busy is it going to be? I think you're going to be driving in rush hour traffic for not much gain at all. Down here, this is the schedule. This is I don't quite know why that's saying. Must be the availability of what can be done. Yeah, I think that's basically saying this is what's open. These are all the potentials, and you can tell I've not used DoorDash as much as the other apps, mainly due to that fact they weren't paying me after the first couple of weeks, and also there was no sign-on incentive. Menulog had the 20 deliveries for 25 deliveries for $200 bonus, and Uber had the do 100 and get paid $1,000, which are both very good offers. DoorDash had nothing other than giving you a free bag. So I've only really used it on demand, when there was been quiet. I've not actually done this, but that looks like exactly what it's doing, saying I can create my own custom runs, and these are the availabilities. So what you've earned, you can see not much at all for the reasons that I gave. These are the ratings, and this is the one thing that I take absolute exception to, this 63% here. The 80% acceptance rate, I agree totally. There was a couple that I just didn't take because they weren't worth it. But this time, 63% on time and early. I guarantee you that when that food's ready, I drive straight to the customer, no messing around, and it gets delivered to the customer. So that should be 100%. What that's not taking into account is the fact that quite often you are waiting for the restaurant to get the food ready, and that is just, I don't know what they use that rating for, but that is just ridiculous. Won't go into the others because it's personal details. They have this join the beta or join the beta, but it never works, so I'm not quite sure what that's for. As you can see, don't have permission to access that content. The red card is, I think I like the Uber one. You can pay for things in shops and restaurants and use your card. Never had to do it. Hopefully I never will. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to be using this going forward. I just need to okay, that's it. Back to the main screen, and I think that's basically it. There's not much more to the basic app than that. You click on Dash Now. Interestingly, Menulog and DoorDash don't have any of the things that Uber do about, saying I'm wearing my helmet. It's my account. Uber must have, put that in to protect themselves to a degree because of issues they've had, maybe in the Uber rideshare area. But yeah, that effectively is the DoorDash app. Okay, so that's a look at the three main apps for the delivery partners: Uber, Menulog and DoorDash. As I said earlier, I hope you found that useful. There will be further videos for each of them, probably a separate video looking at, when it's live, how you take orders, interspersed with some footage of me actually delivering this food around this wonderful area of Brisbane that I call home. In summary, it is an enjoyable thing to do. You have to be pretty confident as a motorbike driver, or I suppose as a vehicle driver. There's advantages to being in a vehicle over a motorbike, which I'll probably cover on another video as well. But in short, a motorbike's much more flexible in terms of where you can park. You can, if you are an experienced rider, you can, cut through traffic to a certain degree. But it also gives you a lot more flexibility about parking when you're at restaurants, which you wouldn't necessarily get with a car. You need a car parking spot. With a bike, you can probably slip it into more places. Not so much of an issue in Wynnum. When I was doing it in Brisbane CBD, definitely an issue. To be honest, I don't know how you would do some of those deliveries in a car. I was using an e-scooter at the time. It was fantastic. A motorbike would probably be harder but easier than a car, and a car would just be a nightmare. So you've got to look at the area you're doing, your confidence. That's if you've got the availability to use a motorbike. Not everyone does. But yeah, I hope that's been useful, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.